I'm Chris Franklin. I'm the head of the strategy team in HMRC's Security and Information Directorate. I did a master's degree in physics at university, and after that I really decided to get out into the real world. I quickly found a career in IT consultancy, and through that, I think like many people, I accidentally fell into security as one of the jobs that I did and found it really interesting and rewarding, and started to build up more and more of a career in that area. And then after about 8 years working at an IT consultancy firm, I got the opportunity to move across and join the public sector, where I took up a role as head of security architecture at HMRC. I've been there 6 years now, and I've moved on to the role that I'm in now as head of strategy. Well, my main job has 3 areas. I lead the strategy team. I'm the senior sponsor for our change program in security, and I'm the head of the security profession in HMRC. And those 3 activities kind of bring in lots of different activities throughout a typical day. So I'm often having meetings with my team about developing the security strategy, and we're really trying to take a different approach there about having security enabling the business, seeing where the business strategy is going, and making sure that security is going to be able to support and challenge and enable what the business wants to do. So it's quite a different approach to the more reactive approach we've taken in the past. On the change program activities, I'm often making decisions about what our priorities will be for the change program, taking business cases to our board to ask for their investment. And really those 2 support each other a great deal. So when you've got a coherent security strategy that demonstrably supports the business strategy, it's much easier to go to a senior board and say, please give me this money because it really will help you to do what you want to do. And then the security profession role really supports all of that to make sure that we've got the people in our security teams, but also out in the business who actually understand security, who can explain it to a business audience, and who can help in the key decision-making activities that we need. I think the good bits are the days when you can really see people get it, that they understand that security isn't there to block what they want to do, it's there to really help them do it in a secure fashion. And when they start to see that, a bit like brakes in a car, enable you to drive faster because you know you can be safe, actually once you understand security and you apply it properly, and especially once the security people understand your business and can help you with that, actually it frees you up to do some of the things you didn't think you could do in the past. And more often than not, actually, I find my job is about challenging people's preconceptions about security and what it means they can't do, and explaining how they can do it if they just rethink their approach a little bit. So that's really good. I think on the more challenging front, it's that part where you find out that someone's had a bad perception of security and has avoided engaging with us. And they've got to some final stage, there's a final gate on a project, or they're about to launch some new site or something like that, and then they've had to hit the security question, and they come to us and say, fix this for me, or make it happen by tomorrow. And you say, oh, if only you'd come to me sooner, I could have helped you with this, but I've got to say no. And saying no is the hardest thing in security these days, not because it's the wrong thing, often it unfortunately has to be the right thing, but because it just reinforces the perception that that's what security is about. And if you do it well, it doesn't have to be about that at all. If it's an area people are interested in working in, there are a number of resources. If you're looking at doing courses and degrees in this area, when I started out, it didn't really exist. You kind of got into IT through a technical discipline, and then you found security. But these days, there are a lot of good courses, and in doing some of the recruitment, I found some of the people coming in through courses like the Royal Holloway one really hit the ground running because they've got a really good grounding, not just in understanding security, but understanding how to make it relevant to the business. And there's lots of other courses that I've seen people come through. So that's kind of the degree level. I think then, once you get into the industry and you start to become more of a professional and want to plan your career, then organisations like the IISP and the CCP framework that they support, which is developed by CESG, are really good at helping people to understand what's the set of skills that you can grow in and what might a career path look like. And then for employers like HMRC and for government generally, we're trying to set out that career path that will say, well, these are the ways you can come in, and then once you're in these kinds of roles, if you want to progress further, you want to look at this kind of training, you want to look at this kind of experience, and this is where you might be able to get to. So my career path has mostly come through quite a technical route, I was a class consultant, which is a particular area of security specialism, which is about government security and risk assessments in a technical sphere. I've gone through that now and I'm working more in a business security strategy space. And I find the more senior I've got, the more I've had to focus on my communication skills, my leadership skills, and my communication with the business. And actually, I see my role now as very much enabling the more technical security specialists to do their job well by bridging the gap, because often we have a bit of difficulty in communicating. And through the route that I've come, I've built up some of those skills. I think for the future, for me, I'd like to grow that and work more and more closely with the business, because the more I can help them to understand what security can do for them and how it can be an enabler, the more I find it becomes easier and it becomes more effective. And I think to look at how we might be able to grow that and use it in a wider context and across larger and larger organisations would be where I'd like to take my career. I think my advice would be to get stuck into it and give it a try. Security can mean lots of different things, and there are lots of different types of careers within security. And I think once you're in the area, as time goes by, you can move around and find different areas and specialise more, or step back and take a broader role. So it's worth just getting into it and giving it a try and learning the basic principles of security that work across all of those different disciplines, so that then, once you've developed your skills in one area, you can turn to another and continue to grow.